Hello dear children. I know that you are enjoying and learning from my videos. In the series of the summaries, I have another one. Here is the summary of Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Poem at a glance. The poem, Fire and Ice by Robert Frost revolves around the theme that human emotions are destructive when allowed to run amok out of control. They can destroy a person morally, mentally, and physically. The poet impresses upon the readers the destructive results of bearing ill feeling like greed, avarice, lust, conflict, fury, hatred, intolerance, etc. This short poem is full of untold meanings. Stanza 1. In these lines, the poet says that there are two theories held by the general people about how the world will be destroyed. The first group of people opines that fire will cause the apocalypse. It means that Earth's core will heat up to an extremely high temperature, then the heat, an essential element, will reach the surface of the planet, and then everything on the surface will be destroyed. It will be destroyed beyond repair. Stanza 1. The second theory says just the opposite. Instead of destruction by heat, some people believe in the theory that the world will freeze till all the species of flora and fauna inhabiting the earth become extinct once and for all. Hence, this theory is based on the power of ice, which will change the living conditions on earth. The poet is aware of both these theories and will now proceed to compare them against each other. In these lines, the poet tries to outline the merits of the first theory. He praised the theory about the destruction of the earth by fire. He compares the fire with human passion and desire. He also says that he is quite familiar with this concept of desire. He also knows about the capability of desire which can be produced in human beings. With this knowledge in mind, the poet frankly confesses that he agrees with those people who believe that the world will be burned to ash. In these lines, the poet stops discussing the first theory and goes on to talk about the theory about the destruction of Earth by ice. The poet tells that we have bitten off more than we can chew. Though, he does not discredit the first theory about fire, or withdraw his support for its greater possibility in causing the apocalypse. He simply considers what might happen if the Earth were to be destroyed a second time. He is sure that the second time ice and the freezing temperatures will be enough to destroy the earth as nearly and effectively as fire previously had. The poet then compares ice with hatred. He says that hatred is also an emotion that he is familiar with, and that he knows what kind of danger can arise from hatred. With this knowledge, he comes to the conclusion that both an icicle and the coldness in man's heart can cause the apocalypse for a second time. The poet talks about the two different beliefs regarding the end of this world. He says that he is in the favor of those who say this world will end in fire, as he has seen the effect and result of uncontrolled and unending desires of humans. He finds the human desire same as fire in its nature. On the other hand, the second belief tells that ice is sufficient for destroying this world, and the poet compares the nature of ice with hatred of humans. As ice can make a part of body numb with its prolonged contact, like hatred can also give numbness to our mind and thoughts and make us insensitive and cruel. The speaker brings us into the middle of an argument between people who think the world will become too fiery and people who think the world will freeze. Then we will be tongue-tied, as we will see the world ending before our own eyes. Literary devices. Assonance. Repetition of vowel sounds. I hold with those who favor fire expresses the strong desire. Alliteration. Repetition of consonant sounds favor fire, world will use to create the tempo and depth of content. Imagery. Make reader perceive something with senses when the poet describes fire and ice. Anaphora. Repetition of same words at the beginning of consecutive lines, some say. Alliteration 2. Personification. Fire and ice can destroy the world. Enjambment. A thought that moves over to the next line. Repetition. I think I know, same format. Oxymoron. Opposite ideas of fire and ice in the title itself. I hope everything is clear of the poem. I thank all the visible and invisible fingers which supported me to develop Parry-style poem.